good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all our viewers and listeners. Welcome to another exciting episode of The Trading Edge from myself, Terence Hove, Senior Financial Market Strategist over at EXNESS, and my co-host and colleague, Sihle Tuta, Commercial Director for South Africa. Thank you for following us on all our socials, for engaging, for liking. And remember to always have your notifications turned on so that you don't miss the next episodes that will be coming out. Today, we've got a very interesting topic that we'll be talking about, and that is the trader's journey, reminiscing on our individual trading journeys over the years. So we'll go into that. Sihle, how are you doing, my man?
I'm good on yourself, Terence. How have you been?
I've been very well, thank you. And today we're going to be talking about a topic that never seems to grow old. It's ever evolving. It's ever, changing, evolving, changing. It's the same thing. But there's changes that happen in the market that you as a trader need to evolve, So perhaps we can start with a bit of how your trading journey has been and what has been your edge in this journey.
So first, I want to say that trading is indeed that. It's a journey. It's full of ups and downs. There's challenges, there's disappointments, alongside winning moments and exciting moments and all that. It's just never a straight line. So anyone who paints a picture that it's always blue screens, it's always happiness, is misleading you. So my journey started in 2012. Surprisingly, that's how far back my journey in trading goes. I don't know whether it's good or bad for me, but my trading journey started with an EA, right? It wasn't through the normal process where you go and take a course, where you learn, practice, and then gain your confidence, and then start trading manually. So my journey started with an EA because of some EA I saw online, which promised to deliver, which promised to deliver exceptional returns month after month. And I bought the EA, opened a trading account, funded, and I think you can pretty much predict how that played out.
How did it play out? It could have been resoundingly wow.
I lost almost all of that money.
Okay.
Because it was just a sales pitch.
Yeah.
The guys who were selling the EA were just selling the EA. There was no demonstration of the EA posting any positive results and whatnot. It was a disaster.
Yeah.
Right. So I lost almost all of the money. And I think I liquidated all the positions when I was 50, 60% in the red. And then I took my money out, which was when I decided that I'm going to try and do this properly. I'm going to try and learn. And I invested in a course, in a trading course, which also didn't come cheap. I mean, back then, the training business or the education business was very lucrative. I think it was more lucrative than trading. So the guys who sold courses back then were making good money because the industry was new. They were charging top dollar for a 3-day course.
Wow.
I mean, as much as $2,000 for a 2 to 3 day course, some with mentorship, but only to realize years later that what they were teaching was just a copy and paste from the internet. It was just information they were copying and pasting from the internet, copying others, and put it together in a course, and sold it to unsuspecting new traders, of which one I was at the time. Invested in a course, but still, after putting all that money in a course, I was even more confused on what trading is and what exactly am I supposed to be doing. How do I go to a point where I decide I'm buying or selling a particular instrument, right? Fast forward a few years later, I think I decided that the little knowledge I've acquired through the trading courses, through watching videos on YouTube, talking to people, was not enough for me to trade confidently. Okay. And this is how I got into this industry. Right. I took up a job with a broker.
All right.
back in 2015, right? A very popular broker, one of maybe the top 20 or 30 brokers globally. They were opening an office in Johannesburg, right? So we were part of the team that launched the office. So I worked for a broker, and the reason why I moved from the industry I was in to this industry is because I really wanted to understand how this business works, how this industry works, not from a retail trader point of view, but also from the back office, from the broker point of view. I mean, what happens when you place a trade? What happens when you make a deposit, when you make a withdrawal? What happens on the broker side, you know? So, you know, I held that job for, I think, a year or so. And then I went to another broker. Oh, sorry, my bad, a few steps back. So after working for the broker, then I became an IB. I started a business as an IB where I was recruiting clients and referring clients to another broker, right? So a friend of mine and I, we had a training entity where we were providing training and we're doing seminars and we're, you know, sort of providing referring all those clients to a broker, right? And then after that, I got another opportunity to work with one of the biggest Forex training providers in the world outside of the US. Okay. So we were basically providing training, we were running courses, running seminars across the country, and that's what we were doing. Okay. And that was also another dimension of me, you know, learning more about the industry and about Forex trading, because the people who were running that outfit were people who were experienced at a global level, right? So from that experience, then I went to work for another broker, right, as a country director. And it's one of the biggest brokers, one of the longest standing brokers in South Africa. I went to work for them. And then from there, I went to work for another broker, you know, where I took up a role at Africa level, you know, sales manager for the Africa region. And from there, I mean, I honestly thought that role or that sort of opportunity was going to be my last one in a role where I'm employed, right? My decision was, you know what, I'm going to go back to becoming a partner or an IB as most people know it. And because I felt that I've learned enough for me to confidently do what I want to do, which is to focus on the trading and maybe talk to people about the industry and trading and help them build their confidence to become better traders. That was when an EXNESS sort of came about to say, look, there's an opportunity for this. This is what you're going to be responsible for. This is what you're going to be doing. And it was very exciting. And I was like, let me give it a shot. And almost 3 years later, here we are, right? So to narrow it down to my journey as a trader, I think in my career, I took a decision to narrow my focus, right? To just focus on one asset class and one currency pair. So as a trader, I only ever trade the USD ZAR. That's the only thing I look at, particularly on the fundamental side, because I feel for me, it shuts down most of the noise. I'm not one to focus on multiple currency pairs, multiple asset classes. It's just not for me. I feel that I understand the relationship between the rand and the dollar. Obviously, for the reason that because I'm South African, I live in this country, and I feel I understand the fundamentals or the politics and the geopolitics and everything else that really affect that relationship between the rand and the dollar. In a lot of cases, I think I'm on the right, but sometimes I'm wrong. So I really take position trading to the heart. I position trade. So if I have a reason to believe that the rand is going to weaken or strengthen against the dollar because of what's happening in the political space, then I take a position. Or as an example, where I was wrong is where my speculation with how the rand-dollar relationship is going to work out as a result of the outcomes of the US elections. I was wrong on that one. I was very wrong. Yeah. And the position really went into a negative big time. And it's only now that it's starting to recover. Right. Okay. So that's the only thing I look at. I don't look at anything else. So to sum up my trading journey, I think it's been a mixture of emotions. It's been a ball of emotions. You know, it's been a roller coaster. You know, excitement and fear. There were times when I felt like, look, this is just not happening because of the volatility. But I mean, any trader who can be honest with you will tell you that trading is a roller coaster of emotions. You know, 1 month you doing well, in the following month you not doing so well. But I think the important thing, especially if you look at trading from a professional viewpoint, if you consider yourself a professional trader, you will have losing months. You will have negative strides. But at the end of your trading cycle, depending on whatever that is for you, whether it's a quarter, whether it's half a year, or whether it's a year, if you look at your results or where you were when you started to then, you need to be on the upside. So that has been my journey. Wow. It's been a roller coaster of emotions, but overall, I think it's been good. Yeah. I think you learn more about yourself in trading more than most people care to realize.
About life in general.
About life in general.
Yes.
It's a game of solitude. Yeah. But however, because of the type of stuff we do, my trading is not such that I'm glued onto a screen 24/7. Yeah. Because of the style of trading I adopt, I can maybe sometimes look at my charts once or twice a week, right? Yeah. And all I do is just manage the trades that are pre-existing. So I really don't spend a lot of time on the charts at all. And I really don't think trading is designed to be in such that you constantly glued in front of your charts, because it's time consuming, and it can be really stressful, and it can be a source of anxiety. Yeah.
Oh, that's remarkable. What a very colorful journey and emotional as well.
Yeah. But overall, it's been good.
Overall, it's been good.
I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
I think,
because I mean the assumption that people make, myself included, is that as a market analyst and doing what you do, you have a crystal ball. You are able to pick the tops and the bottoms with a degree of certainty compared to all of us. I mean, is that the case?
There's some reasonable truth to that, because, as you said, that's what I do. And you need to, just like trading, at least have more good calls than you have bad calls. I mean, that's how you stay in the game. You know, from an advisory perspective, from a commentary perspective, from an opinion perspective, it always needs to be grounded. And I think what that journey for me was the personal part, and then what became the professional part. So personal part, you know, which was about the same time, 2011, 2012. I think there was also a wave that was picking up around that time, you know, post-2010, you know, where everyone wanted to be empowered. People wanted to spend their own time doing what they wanted to do. You know, I mean, you can spend your own time, but you are not necessarily doing what you want to do. So that was the catch. And probably similar with you, getting an EA, the perception of trading is that it'll give you this resounding amount of freedom that you could be in the Bahamas, pull out your cell phone, just look at the charts, enter a trade. You've made quick money, or profit rather, you know, and you close the trade.
And off to the beach you go.
Right. And so that personal part started off with playing around with the different trading platforms. To be very honest, I didn't know what I was doing. And, you know, what the offer is, what the bid is, where are you buying? Are you really buying? Are you selling? Or you thought you were buying, but you're actually selling? Which side of the trade did you want to be on? What is a trade idea? You know, so all of that was a lot of confusion, you know, in my head that I had to filter through. And I think through the years, over the different roles that I then occupied in financial services, I then landed, you know, a position at one of the top global banks, you know, on their fixed income currencies and commodities desk, what they call the FIC desk. And my world changed in as far as trading is concerned. And my world then also changed in what life is, you know, especially as to that point that you made, you know, you get to know a lot of yourself, you know, through trading more than people care to know. And what that experience was, firstly for me, which I also try and bring out in the, financial market analysis or strategy in conversation, in understanding that price action is not standalone. So the first months, on the desk were again, dollar rand. It's a very popular trade, not just because South Africa, but globally. The dollar rand is a very, very popular trade. It's one of the more liquid emerging market currency pairs. That's US dollar ZAR, and that's what I focused on as well. And then other asset classes around the South African rand, but South Africa denominated. So your government bonds, your swaps, forwards, and all of that has got a currency component to it. Why it has a currency component to it, the interest rate component, why the interest rate component is there. And that was the very technical stuff. But once you understand the technical stuff, it doesn't necessarily help you to be a good trader, because understanding the technical stuff helps you to understand the environment. But trading is ultimately the ability to execute, an idea. So I had to start from, first of all, learning how to have a view on the market. You could be right or you could be wrong. You spoke about, the US election trade you took. And that's what the beauty of trading is. I mean, you could have been very right and completely telling a different story. And being right is a derivative of your view. And on that view that you have on the market, I then learned to develop a trade idea and to substantiate that trade idea. So the view led to the trade idea, but the trade idea also need to be substantiated, which means that there's elements of the view that you have to test against the trade idea and how it's going to play out.
Yeah.
And ultimately where you're going to execute the trade. So for me, my focus was never to be called any certain type of trader, and I that's where I built that understanding that whether you're a position trader or you're a scalper, ultimately your personality and ability to withstand certain risk pressures will show the type of trader you are, rather than trying to fit yourself in a box that you do not necessarily fit in.
Yeah.
So I developed more trade ideas and understanding levels than I did focus on a particular naming of my strategy or being called a certain type of trader. And in that, I realized that on average, in a good week, I would be right in terms of profit at least 2-3 times a week, right? But I sort of hit a ceiling where I then had to learn how to scale up those profits. Again, it's a skill in itself. And I quickly then learned that it's not just increasing your position size, because there's risk that comes with that. So I then had to learn risk management in as far as what exactly is the risk and how to manage that risk, especially when you increase the position size. And if you have an open position, what are the risk factors that could work for you or against you in as far as this position is concerned? So that went in through reading different material and also learning from the seniors that were on the desk, seeing how they managed risk and averaging. You learn about averaging, how to average profitably, because you can average into losses. And what you want to do is to average into profits. Then some will argue, well, those losses the market is going to turn. And when the market turns, those positions are going to be profitable, which comes to that question that you are able to pick the very top of the market, very bottom. This is when the turn is going to happen and all of that. And again, you need to be always watching the market to somehow catch this move that in a split of a second, blink of an eye, you can miss it. And that creates a lot of pressure that takes away the art of trading. So I then moved more towards, your position trading, increasing that position and managing the risk relative to that position. For the days I have different views on intraday trading, I then learned the art of layering, which means increasing the level of risk that I'm taking in the market as the trade is going into my direction, into the profit. So there were a lot of tears as well. And the worst tears was, to make a loss when you got it right. And I quickly learned that there's a difference between getting it right in as far as analysis is concerned and trading profitably. And that's where the two, also differ, right? And that's where the difference I then learned is between analysis and trade execution. And in between that is the strategy. So analysis can be right, but from your analysis, you need to form sound strategies. The strategies can be sound, but you need to perfect the art of execution. And that is what ultimately trading is all about, that bit. And when I learned that difference, the tears started subsiding, and the losses started becoming minimal. And the tears started subsiding and the losses started becoming minimal. So that's when the tears started subsiding, when I learned those different stages and aspects of a trade idea, but ultimately the execution is crucial. And with that, it changed my whole approach to trading, And now being a senior financial market strategist at EXNESS and being at EXNESS, also affords you the opportunity to be able to trade daily. That now comes down to the strategy that one uses. And we've got very good products and platforms that support a good professional journey. And I think what also changed for me was the outlook of the professionalism that the same trader at an international bank, at a local bank, trading in your study, in your library, you are looking at the market ultimately. You might get liquidity or pricing from different vendors, but ultimately it's the same market forces you're looking at. So be professional. That's my closing remark.
Good one, Terence. Thanks very much for your insight. I think takeaway for me is that trading is going to be a journey for everyone.
Yes.
Everyone obviously has a different journey, but I think it needs to be approached as a business because it is.
Yes.
You're not just going to come and achieve outstanding results overnight. It is going to be a journey after all.
It is.
I think with that said, we've come to the end of today's episode. Please like, subscribe, and follow us across all our social media. And please be on the lookout for our next episodes coming out in future. For myself, Sihle, and from Terence Hove, cheers for now.
Bye for now.